YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got another huge haul here from the Waterloo video game swap. I'll show an ad for that just so that you can see that, and the next one is in September, so make sure that you check it out if you're in the GTA region, the Waterloo region, even if you're close to the border kind of thing. It's definitely worth a stop in just to see all the really cool items that were there. I had a really great time today. I met up with a lot of YouTubers that I've only contacted basically online, like, typing back and forth, having conversations that way, sending emails, stuff like that. So I finally ran into a whole bunch of people that are subbed to my channel, I'm subbed to their channel. So it was just tons of fun, just meeting up with those guys. I mean, if that was the only thing that happened the entire day, that would have been a successful day as far as I'm concerned. But it turns out I had a lot of things going on, lots of different trades going on, and I'm going to try to keep this all straight because it's actually quite confusing for me, because there was a lot going on at the show, and a lot of trades I did just at the show and things like that as well. The first things that I'll show you here are the initial trades that went down. So the first trade was when Longshot came by my place, picked me up to head down to Waterloo. It's about an hour away from where I'm at. So he came down, picked me up, and we head there together, and it was a really great time actually speaking to him and getting to know him a little bit better. We've done trades and spoke in the past and things like that, but it was nice to spend some time together and just hang out and swap war stories kind of thing as far as video games go, and a variety of other things. So this was a previous trade from a while ago. I just bought this stuff straight up from him, and he gave me like a really good deal on it. I'm not going to go into that. It's kind of a personal deal between us. Usually if I pick something up off of Kijiji or something like that and I don't really know the person that well, I'll go over the prices and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not really going to do that. I will show you what these things are valued at, but I'm not going to show you like what I paid for it and all that kind of stuff. One thing that he picked up for me, he got this from a Toulouse, is a PlayStation Eye, which would go along with PlayStation Move stuff. So that's pretty cool right there. I didn't have one of these, so he picked this up. He messaged me when he saw it and asked me if I'd be interested in it. This was a while back. We just haven't seen each other since then. So he put this in with the things that he also got me. So really cool. I don't have any of the Move controllers yet or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure shortly they'll be showing up in thrift shops. So happy to get one of these though to start things off. Something else that he got for me as well. He got this previously, and he gave me a copy of this Super Mario AllStars. Really good condition actually. I'll clean it up obviously, and there's a sticker on the back of it, but the sticker's what he paid for it, so I don't really want to go there, but pretty cool right there because I didn't have this in my collection. So really wicked. I really appreciate that, man. And also another part to that deal was something else I didn't have, and a pretty common item I think. It's a Super Game Boy, so really sweet right there to get a hold of one of these finally. I know these are not as valued, I think, as the GameCube player, which basically does the same job, but I didn't have one in my collection, so super happy to get that as well. Moving on, something that I forgot to mention at the start of this, or actually was something else that Longshot brought me, and it was coming from acrosby1099. He sent something to me which I didn't even really know was coming to begin with, and then I sent something back, and then he decided because of that he was going to send me something. So that other part will come later on. I know this sounds confusing, but anyways, this is what he originally sent me, and Longshot was the one that picked it up because Acrosby shipped this item to his address in Michigan, and so I was able to get that through Longshot, and we just kind of waited till today because that was the next time we saw each other. But it's really cool, a Dreamcast game, and it's so hard to find Dreamcast stuff, I'm telling you, and this is something I needed for my collection, and Acrosby noticed that when I did my Dreamcast video, and he sent this to me, and I'm so gracious and really appreciative of the fact that he thought of me. I didn't ask for anything, and he just saw a brother in need kind of thing, and he sent it my way, so I really appreciate it. It's a copy of Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast, and what an awesome title to get. He's like saying for himself that he didn't pay that much for it. It's not really about that, man. It's about thinking of other people, and I really appreciate the fact that you thought of me for this one, and that's really wicked right there. So that was basically the stuff that I got from Longshot originally, and then it moves on from there, and I'm trying to remember the order that all this stuff happened in. I'll get started. I walked into the show, and it was full of people. Like, we got into the lineup, we were probably maybe the 30th people, maybe 40th in line, I'm not really sure. It was a pretty long line, which that's not very much, because like most people are standing side by side kind of thing. So we were like really in the front of the show at the start of it. That place filled up almost immediately. So it was pretty crazy, the number of people that were there. It was generally packed, but if you check out Longshot's video, I think he's going to have some footage. I can't guarantee it, but I think he took some, and I also think the GameHuntersRUs took some for sure. So you can check out their videos to see what the show actually looked like, because pretty awesome, and I'm going to leave links to all that. I was walking around and I approached a vendor, and I didn't recognize the person. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I wouldn't recognize them. I started looking at the things that they had there. They were sort of busy, like keeping an eye on their stuff, keeping an eye on people that are coming by, and it was super busy too. But I kind of commented to this person. I said, wow, your stuff's in really good shape. Like, everything you had was just immaculate, like perfect. And he kind of looked at me and goes, Canadian Retro. And I was like, yeah. And then caught me off guard a little bit. And for the life of me, he told me his YouTube handle right at the start of it, and I am the worst person with names, and I apologize, man. I can't remember what you told me your name was. I mean, I'm really sorry about that. What you can do though, like, make sure you comment on this video. I know you're probably gonna watch this. Comment on the video, leave something there so I can get your name down. I gotta see it in writing. Anyways, forgetting all of that, get a copy of this right here in front of him. And this is Hook for the SNES, and I saw some video on this recently, and I thought, you know what, I think I'll pick that up. That's pretty cool. He had an $11 price tag on it, but he said, you know what, man, when I sort of picked it up, he goes, you know what, $5. Like, I didn't say I wanted a deal on it. He just gave it to me for $5. I thought that was great, really great way to start off the show. And again, I apologize, I can't remember your name for the life of me. My own fault though. But make sure you comment down below, because I really appreciate the deal that you gave me on this. You didn't have to do that at all, and that was really wicked. He also had just some amazing items there, and like a boxed Hagane for the SNES. And if you know anything about any of this kind of stuff, that's a supremely pricey game. And it was in really great shape, and unfortunately I don't think that it sold by the end of the show, but it's a pretty big ticket item, and a lot of the items that he had there were just great quality. And so pleased though to, you know, meet people that watch my channel and stuff like that. Hopefully he might start making videos or something like that. I hope that he would, because he seems to have really great taste and really high-end kind of stuff that I don't normally get my hands on, kind of thing. Just nice to really see the things that he had there. Moving on, and this is where the order starts getting a little bit wacky. I can't remember if that was first or if this was. I think this came later, because when we first went in, Longshot and I went different directions. So we kind of were like divide and conquer kind of plan, and then later we were teaming up and trying to make deals. So he went one direction, I went the other, and then we met up. So I think that came first, and then later on we were at a different counter or whatever, and I saw this, and I'm so pleased to pick this up, because this is one of my favorite games. It is Micro Machines for the NES, and I've probably pumped this game up before in many of my videos. But this thing is boxed, and when I bought it, the guy's like, don't you want to check the contents? I'm like, well, I already have the cartridge or whatever. I'm just really interested in the box, so I don't really care what's inside it. That's what I told him. I paid $25 for it. I thought that was a pretty killer deal. Inside, there is the cartridge right there, which is in pretty decent shape. There's nothing wrong with it. Mine's in a little bit better shape, but hey, I'll put the nice one in the box, and I'll keep this one for playing myself. And then it has the sleeve in it as well. There's no instruction manual, but I thought for $25 that was a pretty good deal to get this box. I'm really going to appreciate it. I'm not a super box collector. This box isn't in like perfect shape. It's missing one of the tabs right here, this kind of thing, but this is definitely one that I wanted on display, just because it's one of the ones that's sort of near and dear to my video game past. Like, I really wanted to get my hands on this, so now I have, and really happy to get this for $25 with the box and everything. It's going to look great on the shelf. Moving along, I think the next thing that happened was we went outside. I was actually doing a couple of trades with other YouTubers. We went outside because I ran into GameHuntersRUs originally, and we're like, hey, let's head outside and we'll look at what each other has, like as far as doing, you know, trades and stuff between each other, just the stuff that we brought. Before I actually had these trades go down, I met up with a young guy named kingedkarl, and you should go check out his channel. I'll put a link down below. A super awesome YouTuber as well, but hasn't really put up a lot of content recently. Hopefully he'll put up a video of what he picked up today, and you'll get to see that. So go check out his channel. You'll be happy that you did. The first thing they threw at me was this copy of Pariah, which I didn't have in my collection. So kind of cool to get this game right here, and this one they didn't want anything for. I did a trade. I grabbed the first title that was sort of on the top of their stack because they wanted an Avatar game for the PS2, I think. Ben from GameHuntersRUs wanted that, so I just grabbed this off the top of their stack because he was being a little bit indecisive, and I was like, you know what, here, there we go, trade done. So I grabbed this off the top, and I don't have this, so it worked out kind of nice for me. I don't know a whole lot about this title specifically, but hey, why not? And like the other one, which I didn't really show you, it is complete, so totally wicked. I'm really pleased, you know, to be able to pick that up and get rid of one of my doubles, or one of the titles I was trying to get rid of. While we were standing there, I'm trying to again keep this all in order, this is crazy. While we were standing there, SeeJayAre came over, and I'll put a link down to his channel as well, and he came over, he was checking out what we were doing, seeing what we had there and whatnot, and then he gave everybody that was standing there 3 of these. So what they are, and they're actually like in sets, so they have different things on them, but what they are is they're PS4 boxes kind of thing, so like a cube sort of idea, and they fold up and they make a box, and basically it's like an advertisement for it. So he gave everybody one of these because I guess he had a whole ton of these in his car. There's different ones here, like for instance this one has Drive Club, and then on the back Killzone and Knack right there, so pretty cool. And then I think this one is the, well, it's the same thing. So the other one's a little bit different, but this one's the same one. So pretty cool though. I mean, you just kind of threw that at us. Really appreciate that though. Thanks a lot, man. Of course, if you're watching this, I guarantee you're subscribed to his channel. The guy's got like 10,000 subscribers or something ridiculous. So no problem there. You're not. I'm not telling you anything you already know. But go check out his channel and see what he got as well today. I don't know if he left with anything really that much, but if you've seen his collection, you can probably figure out why. Another YouTuber that I ran into today is Gamer Macmurdo, and he did some trades with GameHuntersRUs, and I didn't really see a whole lot of Gamer Macmurdo. I saw him right at the start, and then a little bit at the show and whatnot, but he was there very quickly, and he was out almost as quickly as he got in there, so I didn't really get a lot of time to, you know, hang out with him or anything like that. But I'm a subscriber to his channel, he's a subscriber to mine, so it was really nice meeting you, man. And if you guys haven't seen his channel yet, go check it out. I'll put a link down below with all the other links as well. Alright, the next thing that happened, and I think I have this in the wrong order, but it's not a big deal. One of the first 2 titles that I picked up, right basically when I walked in the door, were 2 I didn't have for the original PlayStation, and it's Driver and Death Trap Dungeon. Didn't have these, so pretty happy to pick them up. They were $4 each. Pretty decent condition. I'm sure it plays. It's not like epically great or anything like that. We'll have to see how it goes. And then Death Trap Dungeon. And the funny thing about this title here was so funny. I bought this, and then when I ran into GameHuntersRUs again, Josh pulled out this game and he goes, "Here, I got you something." And he pulled out this exact same game, and he's like, "Oh, you like the trap kind of games? I thought you might like this or something." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I just bought this like literally 2 minutes before he picked it up." So he picked it up, and I didn't take it because I just bought it. But I appreciate the thought, man, that you would pick this up for me. But this is the one that I actually bought originally. Moving back, I think that I've kind of messed up the order. Back when we were outside at the cars, I met up with 2 fellow YouTubers that had trades that we had organized ahead of time. So it was just basically dealing my wares, or whatever you'd like to call it, outside the back of Longshot's car. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I gave this person, but this is what I got in return. And the person that I'm speaking of is Gunner, and I can't remember all the numbers after his handle. I think it's like 1792 or something like that. I don't know. I'll put a link down below. I always forget these kind of things, and I'll also post it above my head here. Exactly, what his YouTube name is, but I just called him Gunner basically. And this is the stuff that he got. He noticed in my Xbox collection video, my original Xbox collection video, that I had this game, but mine was a little bit beat up. So he gave me a copy of Fable. This is part of our trade, and this is complete, which is really wicked. And the disc condition's really, really good, actually. So this is a much needed upgrade for me, so I really appreciate Fable being part of that when he saw that I kind of needed that. And this is the best part about it, is when people see your stuff and they notice, like, okay, this is missing or this isn't perfect, whatever, and then they help you out with it. And that's exactly what he did with that. To even out the deal a little bit, I got a title that I already have in my collection, but it never hurts to have. Final Fantasy Tactics, Greatest Hits. I was hoping this wasn't Greatest Hits, but we already communicated about that ahead of time, and he said, yeah, it was Greatest Hits, and I was like, well, I throw it in anyways just to even things out. So there it is there, Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, you never know, this might be in better condition than the one that I have, so I'm going to take a look right now. It's actually in really, really great shape, so I think it's probably in better condition than mine, so that's probably an upgrade for me, so I appreciate that as well. Something I did not have in my collection was Crash Bash. There it is right there. Pretty sweet. I think I do have this loose, but it's nice to have this complete finally. And the disc is not too bad at all. Maybe some slight scratches and stuff on it. It'll clean up pretty nicely though. And pretty sweet right there. And one that I'm really happy to get, which is really cool for me because I have the other ones in the series as far as PlayStation 1 goes, and this was one of the ones I needed to kind of complete that part of it. At least I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure it makes me complete as far as this series goes. And it's Spyro Year of the Dragon. And I have the other Spyro games like Ripto's Rage and all that, but here's this one here, and super happy to get that. It's not in the world's greatest shape, but it doesn't need to be as long as it plays and it's clean. Moving on, some more things that Gunner traded with me is this here Super Mario World. And I already have this, but I have a system that I'm going to be selling, so it's nice to be able to get that to bundle with it. So I thought I would throw that in. It was just to even things out in the trade, really. Something else that he got, or got me basically as well, is a rather kind of beat up copy, but it's not too bad, of Legend of Zelda. The only thing with it is it's missing one of the tabs right here. Otherwise it can be cleaned up. The label's not perfect. It has a few dings in it. But still, I did have this in my collection already, but again, I really wanted to help him out with the trades and stuff that I did, so I put that in as one of the titles. And for me, this is much easier to trade off later than a bunch of other titles, because a lot of the things that he wanted was like PS2 and whatnot. It's much easier for me to trade this off and bundle it with the system, so I'm really pleased to get my hands on this. And then finally, the last thing as far as that trade went is this right here, and it's Super Mario's AllStars. Another copy of it. I can't tell which one's in better shape between the two. I think probably they're fairly equal for the most part. But again, a good one to get if you're needing to trade and stuff like that. So really happy to get some quality titles. I've been looking for this game, and in one day I ended up getting it twice, so that's pretty awesome right there. The next YouTuber that I did a trade with, and I know this video is getting excruciatingly long, and I really apologize about that, is BuriedonMars, and I had a couple of items, and again, I'm not going to get into what I traded him for these things, but I definitely got some really good items out of it, things that I was looking for. The first thing that I got from him was a copy of Ghouls and Ghosts for the Sega Genesis. I have this on pretty much every other system now, and really wicked to get this on the Genesis. So it's loose cart, but I'm okay with that, no problem. And then moving on, another one that I've been trying to get, and it's ridiculous, the prices I see on this game, and it just keeps going up crazy up in value. So really happy to get it. It's Mario Kart Double Dash. Again, trade a couple items for a couple items. This is definitely something you want to pick up. Labels, or the manual's there. It's not in the world's greatest shape. It has a little bit of folds and stuff in it, but I'm not too worried about it. And the disc is pretty decent. It's not bad. It's got a few light scratches, but he told me that this worked perfectly fine. And a game I was definitely on the lookout for and could not find for a reasonable deal for the life of me. So glad to make this trade. So that goes for all of my trades. Now, moving on, just keeps getting crazier and crazier. But I went back into the show and I picked up, this was sort of earlier on, I guess. I picked up 2 titles. Both of them are for one's for the PlayStation, one's for the Dreamcast. One of them is Frogger 2 Swampys Revenge. I love these like retro remake games, so I couldn't turn this down when I saw it. It's definitely an upgrade for me. I think I have this on the PS1. Now I have it on the Dreamcast. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but even still, for the deal that I got for both of these, pretty cool. And then one I didn't have, which I wanted to get my hands on, was Pong. Again, one of the retro remakes. But from this vendor, I offered them $8, and they gave me, $8 for the 2 of them. So basically, if I saw these in a thrift shop, I would have paid $4 each for them. I was able to do it at the show, so really good deal right there all around. Moving on, I tried to make this deal a couple of times during the day, and I don't know a whole lot about these titles. Well, a couple of them I obviously know about, but the one here, the first one, I don't know anything about, and it's Wild Metal for the Dreamcast. I don't know if you know this title. If you do, let me know what you think of it. They only have it priced for $4, so it can't be that great of a title. But again, Dreamcast stuff, impossible to come by. This is a Rockstar title, before they started making the other more infamous games that we have recently. But there it is in the back there. I don't know a whole lot about it. I was really bundling it with the stuff just to kind of sweeten the pot for myself, because the next 2 titles I was more interested in. The first one is The House of the Dead 2, and unfortunately I won't probably ever be able to play this game because I don't have an old TV and I don't have room for one, but I did want to get this, and I was able to get it for a reasonable deal. You can just ignore the price stickers on there because that's not really what I paid for it. Again, it's complete, or I probably wouldn't have bothered with it. And the disc on this one's fairly decent. It's not too bad at all. So there's that one right there. And then finally, the 3 that I got together, I got Worms World Party for Dreamcast as well. So the 3 Dreamcast games. And it's in pretty decent shape. It looks like it'll play. It has a few minor scratches and definitely needs to be cleaned up. But hey, I'm not too worried about that. And for these 3 games, they wanted 30, but this was near the end of the show. And the first time I went around, I said, would you take 20 for them? And the girl there, who, it was her stuff, she said, no, I could do 25. And I was not really interested in them for 25. So, just because, I like to get things kind of cheaply. So, I walked around for a little bit. I came back, I made the same offer again, thinking it was a little later on in the show, they might go for it. And she came back with, she said, well, 25 doesn't do it for you. And I'm like, no, I'm not really interested at 25. She goes, I go, 20 is really where I want to be at. And she goes, what about 22? So I said, okay, for $22. I picked up those 3 titles for $22. Pretty happy to be able to do that, especially, at the show kind of situation. And then moving on, this deal worked out kind of interesting. Longshot and I were sort of teaming up on people, trying to bundle deals together, basically, to get a better deal, and it sort of worked out definitely in his favor on this one. I pretty much broke even on the deal, but the vendor was asking a lot more. For these 2 titles right here, he wanted $40, and that's way overpriced for these titles. I don't know a whole lot about these titles to begin with, so I basically was just going out on a limb. Longshot picked up another title, and he's going to show that to you, which is much more of a known title than what I've got. But the first one here is Master of Monsters, Disciplines of Gaia. and it's complete as well, as you can see there. And then the disc is, you know, really good on this one. So for this one, you know, the vendor wanted $20, and that's not what I ended up paying for it. And then Shadow Madness, which looks kind of like a clone or something of Final Fantasy type of game. I don't know. It's definitely an RPG style, so I'll have to check it out. Relatively unknown. I tried to find some YouTube footage on it, and I found it kind of difficult to find a whole lot for this particular game or anything that could give me a sense of how good this was, but still pretty interesting. Again, this vendor wanted $20 for that, so he wanted $40 for the two. With what Longshot bundled in, we both ended up paying $25 basically for our two items. He picked up one item, I picked up these two for $25, which is really a good deal because originally he wanted, when I took them up, he said, ignore the prices, I'll give them to you for $30. I ended up getting them for $25, which basically, combined together, that's what they're valued at. So I was pretty happy, though, to pick those up. I know nothing about these titles. They could be total garbage for all I know. But, again, I was taking a shot on it, and, you know, I wanted to get something that I hadn't seen before that day, so I thought I would go with those two titles. Moving on, and I know this is getting long, but moving on, I found a couple of titles at the very end. I walked up to one vendor and I was looking at a specific game, but they wouldn't budge on the price. And if you won't budge, I'm not really interested because I made deals basically all day long. I wasn't paying the ticketed price for anything that I was buying. So basically, he wouldn't budge on the price. He wanted $20 for the item that I was looking at. So I went over to another vendor, and they had the same price tag on it, but they were willing to move around on it a little bit if I bundled something else with it. So I ended up picking up Super Star Wars. You can ignore that $15 because that's not what I paid for it. And then I picked up Wanderers of Eves 3. And you can ignore that there. So that would have been $35. I ended up paying $30 for the two. The original vendor I looked at wanted $20 for this and wouldn't budge on the price. So I ended up like just sort of putting it together and saving like $2.50 each, which, you know, isn't too bad at all, really. This one here is not as good shape as the other one that I looked at. Has some glue or something right on here, so I'll have to see if I can get that off. But that was really at the end of the show. I was trying to basically get stuff out of people that were unloading it. Moving on, this is the last thing that I'm going to show you. I know this is really patient if you're here with me this whole time. Something that I picked up, my wife actually got for me, was a Skylander. I usually start my videos with these. Got me Dune Bug the other day, which is really awesome because I didn't have that. And then a friend of mine also picked me up these two and brought them over, and I just paid her in cash kind of thing. Was Frino and Turbo Jetvac for the Skylanders. And that is everything that I picked up, not the Skylanders, but the rest of it. All came from either trades or things that I bought at the video game swap today. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Thanks for being so patient. Please feel free to thumbs up this video, comment down below, and I will see you all later.